Hi, I'm Malcolm.
And I'm Rachel. We're two Canadians living on our 39-foot mainship trawler, living an adventure of a lifetime. We invite you to follow along as we travel 6,000 miles through Canadian and U.S. waterways around America's Great Loop. Many aspects of living on a boat are very similar to living in a house. Some aren't.
Some are quite different. Just today, we're getting a fair amount of wind, so the boat's moving, it's shaking, it's making noises. That's not normally what you'd hear in a house. That's not what you want to hear in a house anyway.
That's true.
So you have to be very cognizant of the fact that you're not on a foundation, you're not in one place, and it comes with its own benefits, but it also comes with its own risks.
And so that's one thing actually that we do every day on a daily basis. We are checking the weather, constantly checking the weather, even on good days, to know when bad weather may be coming or windy weather might be coming. And so we're checking a few days out, we're checking within the few hours, and we're checking multiple sources of information for wind and weather.
Yeah, there's two parts to it. One is at anchor. So today we're at anchor, and it's the wind dictates whether we go into a protected bay, whether we can anchor somewhere a little more open, and it also dictates how we travel. So if it's windy in any particular day, we'll make sure that we're traveling, let's say, inside passages or canals versus something that's out in the open. You can only do that when the wind is down and the waves are down. We wouldn't want to do that today when the winds are blowing 30 knots.
And if there is some wind or waves, it's better to be going into it rather than having it coming across the beam and you're really rocking and rolling at that point.
It can be very, very uncomfortable. Going in fairly large waves for us. The boat's not stable, and you've got to be aware of that when you're moving around the boat. You've always got to have 2 points of contact, not like walking around in a house where you can just walk in a straight line. In a boat, if it's moving and shaking, you've got to make sure that you don't fall over, because getting from A to B isn't as easy as it would be if your house isn't moving.
Let's check our water tanks and see how we're doing. The starboard one is nearly full, and the port one says 3/4. Quarter full. We also check daily on the boat things like our freshwater tank levels, our black water tank levels, our diesel fuel levels, so that we know if we're running out of anything and if we have to make a stop into a marina to fill up. Also we're checking things like battery levels and our solar power output.
Yeah, so we have lots of things in a house. You don't have to worry about a lot of those things because if you're connected to the grid, you turn on a switch and everything should work. If it doesn't, you wait for the grid to get reconnected. Here, we are the grid, so we're the ones that are generating the power, we're the ones storing the power and distributing it. So if we can't turn on a light or turn on a toaster oven, we need to know why. So, and that's just being proactive, looking at the levels that we're acquiring with our solar to make sure our batteries are topped up. It just makes the day go a little bit easier, and you don't have to be in a conservation mode because you've used too much power. So it's prudent. The key things for us very much is power, water, making sure that we have enough of both. With those two things, we can stay at anchor for quite some time, but we do have to replenish the water, and you can't just take water from the lake and pour it into your tanks. We'd prefer to get potable or drinkable water that can go into our tanks.
to work on videos today. The main issue for food on the boat is storage of food. And so when you're going on a longer passage, most people have a lot of like canned food, maybe things like pasta and rice and things like that that don't have to stay in a fridge. And of course, most people do like to have some fresh food, so that's where you want to make regular stops to a grocery store at various points along the way to replenish what you have in your fridge. So the fridge on the boat is quite big, however, it's smaller than a house fridge. You know, everything's a bit smaller, so you kind of are able to get smaller amounts of fresh food. So you kind of have to replace things like that regularly. And then when you run out of something, you might have to get a little creative and use something that's maybe use frozen vegetables instead of fresh vegetables, if that's what you have at the time. So that's the main thing with food. Here you go.
Whoa.
Enjoy.
Breakfast for the captain from the Admiral.
So today we're en route and I'm preparing a lunch. Some people had asked what kind of food we eat on the way, and we like to try to eat as much fresh food as we can. However, it's not always easy to sort of package everything into the fridge. So I did get some pre-packaged salads, and I kind of add things to it. So I'm going to show you what I got here. So here you can see a Caesar salad, and I've added some avocado and cucumber and tomato and a bit of canned wild salmon on top. So that looks really delicious, and it'll certainly hit the spot as we're traveling along. Chicken tenders and kind of stir fry. Decided to go ahead and do some laundry today. So all of our delicates are hanging up, including some t-shirts and things, and it's super gusty, so I hope they dry quickly. Anyway, just thought I'd show you life on the loop. Brandon Road Lock and Dam closure, August 15th, December 4th, full closure. We try to research as much as possible where we're going. So looking everything up online, learning about any potential lock closures or obstacles, and knowing that we really can't be in a hurry. We can't promise someone to be in a certain place on a specific date. We can promise to be at that location, and we can promise to meet the person on a date. We just can't combine the two things. And as much as we do plan, something will go wrong, either a boat system failure, or an illness or injury, or a travel delay because of wind, or something completely out of our control. So just like docking, we go slow and we take it easy and we try to be flexible. I think that's the key with boating, is to be as flexible as possible. Hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something about living on a boat. Have a great day.